إذا دخف مخي خلق نقالي تضمك وشلك لحلك ما أغبات بنمي وبني أموي ليف نخيوست بكتيش داخل طيبي فلسطين طوعين ميت نمل ميت ديبوك إجدتي ألهمي وخيمي هشين في المدى أمهلش طوعين أغيب مامش خص خصة إكس فلخت ضوئب دولالي ذكرى السلغة ويبقوا شمي عفشن بلا عمي للسطو إدلا
If this data is truly accurate, then this is what is going to happen. This is not meant to try and cause fear or panic. I only mean to make you aware so that you all can prepare for what is to come, which has been observed on dozens of worlds from WSP 180 to Greece 54b. It's a common set of geological patterns observed on some 30 to 40 different worlds. This trending storm pattern will increase in severity, going from one strong and larger storm cell to another repeatedly until it covers nearly half of the surface. Then the storm cell will become a storm that does not stop or get weaker. Then it will stop moving and diminish in size but will remain a constant strong Category 5 storm stuck in one spot. As it sits stationary, it will begin to generate an electromagnetic field and no technology within the storm cell will work. The skies surrounding the storm will begin to turn into a pinkish hue, sometimes a neon-like purple. Then while stationary it will begin to grow in size again, eventually dislodging from its stationary track, and it will fixate along the equatorial line. Though it will appear to be moving slowly, the winds inside that storm will exceed speeds of around 350 to as high as 500 miles per hour. A thick wall of debris will be all that can be visible seen beyond the cloud's barrier, and that electromagnetic field will travel with it, frying out any technology and radio equipment. The debris will be funneled into the center and ejected into the upper atmosphere as everything on the surface is violently ripped apart and flung into space. It will gradually become the debris that forms the ring around our planet. This storm will intensify and is theorized to be caused by the collapse of the atmospheric pressures withheld by the barrier of our magnetosphere, which will slowly be collapsing due to the loss of our atmosphere. These will be the last moments of our world as the photon plasma field in the core of our world dissipates completely, causing our planet to experience a small-scale supernova-type explosion as the surface collapses completely and the magma core is expelled outward along with it, and our world explodes into cosmic dust. The past has always been shown to be that the planet's batteries simply ran out of juice from just old age. The time scale of these events cover typically a 20 to 30-year span depending on the mass of the planet. Larger objects, such as some exoplanets they've discovered, take longer, and sometimes the debris and particle gases aren't ejected far enough and coagulate to create a gas ball that slowly form into complex gas giants like Uranus. So, what are we going to do? I'm telling you now, we have a very slim chance of getting off this rock by ourselves. Our technology and understanding of the universe on the whole is not adequate enough to leave this world. There are particle fields we haven't even discovered yet. We don't know the full spectrum of what space is comprised of, meaning we can't build any sort of colonization ships that can successfully survive in deep space because we still don't know the effects of the unknown particles that we'll encounter. There are most likely cosmic radiation levels we aren't even aware of, and we'll have no way of shielding ourselves from their effects. We won't even be capable of detecting them because we don't know what to look for or the signs of their properties, motion and approach, what type of effects they'll have on us, let alone if we could survive encountering them. That's the bad news. It gets worse. We also don't have the time left to explore these issues well enough to work out the details enough to develop the technology to at least observe them, interact with them, harness it, adapt it into our current technological advancements, build equipment that can utilize it as a resource, and then develop the equipment to incorporate it into what we would need to survive on a colony anywhere other than Earth for long periods of time. So that's the bad news. But do I seem weird yet? No. Why is that? Because I have a plan that will at least help us survive somehow. The only viable way I can see of our survival in any way, form, or fashion would be to utilize the method of magic I have been trying to teach you all. I cannot expect the world to suddenly grow a benevolent streak of purity and teach the whole world how to reincarnate by choice of will and redirect their life essence, their Kai, into new bodies, without some percentage of them turning into super criminals and becoming the threat to mankind's survival. It's a risk that we can't afford to take the chance on, but a select few can be taught, adapt and harness it well enough to direct large groups into new vessels across the universe, new forms on different worlds where most will likely not even remember living here on Earth, let alone what happened or who they were. It's weak, but it is the only option I can think of without completely just giving up and accepting our fate, while just remembering that when it's over, the Lord will have a place for us safe from all this turmoil we will inevitably face. I refuse to give up on life or find a way to save lives from complete and total destruction. I'm an angel, so that kind of thought is not in my nature. God never gave up on me, so I refuse to give up on my duties He has given me. It would be rude. Another issue is that someone out there is seeking ways to disrupt my work and place me on trial before some self-generated council of magic. They may hold such things for most within the orders, but my position is not within their jurisdiction. I am one of the Order of the Mystic Flame, one of the masters of magic in a sense. There are no other higher authority in this field than us. We handle our own affairs, and we are not governed by the laws and principalities of such things. Ask yourself, would a child be able to set the rules and dish out judgment to their parents? Does the shop owner tell the construction foreman how to lay the cement down while they are building the mall that their business will occupy? No, because there is a process, a chain of command that supports the structure of this field of craft. The only authority we answer to are the winds of fate that called us to this task. Only it governs the length of time, when and how we go about completing our tasks. We know not who the others are. We are called by an unseen hand that brings us before something that cannot be explained to a capacity that words can describe. The fate of the world and the stability of society is open before us, and we are presented with a choice to save humanity and the world as we know it without any promise of reward or compensation. We are asked, for the sake of people who we don't know, may never know, or even our enemies, to be the hero that the world needs. Many have been called, few have succeeded in accomplishing the test of worthiness, and even fewer have walked away successfully. Mortals usually aren't capable of possessing such raw power without it corrupting them and consuming them with the lust for control, for I am but a humble vessel still. I remember when I was being accused of the sins before heaven that most had come to believe I was this monster that was being said about me. It seemed everyone held conviction towards me, except God. He sheltered me from their growing frustration and fears, never believing what was being said and telling me to pay it no concern, that he knew the truth. In all honesty, though, was these legends of Lucifer's time in heaven true, or was there something more to this than we understand? Hold on a second, I need to have a word with the director.
What do you think you're doing? Yes, you behind the backdrop, the one who is manipulating these scenarios to suit your own intentions and desires. You are not God. He does not manipulate people like this to achieve his desires through the suffering and hardships inflicted upon others, so say that story. No, not this puppet you work through, I mean the you behind them. Just what the hell do you think you're doing? You want to think that you are beyond us and our karmatic laws that decide your fate for your actions by using us to do it? When's the last time someone gave you a black eye? Come here and let me show you a taste of my fist. Now get out of here, and if I ever catch you in here again, I'll whip you again, you little punk.
Maybe these legends that occurred in heaven were an encrypted destiny that had yet to unfold. Maybe they were the plans of God, an answer to our plea for help in these times, for the end is nigh, but putting the conflict of arguing the principal morals and views of opinion. I am Lucifer, bearer of the first dawn in creation, the son of the morning star. God brought the alpha of all these things into being through me. We molded the earth and the life in every ocean, rose the land up and shaped the surface of this planet together, as well as molded the principles of life here and throughout the universe together. So why can I not save this world from destruction? Why do I allow this creation to dictate by my intended will, as in by my own efforts? There were 436 angels created. Each one was tasked to bring together the elements of life on worlds that held the potential for life to form on other worlds. Not human, carbon-based life, but life in various forms, comprised of different qualities, and sustained by elements available on those worlds. So, that's 438 different options we have to choose from. Unfortunately, in order to assure that they would not be disturbed in their duties, they do not answer to the commands of any angels, nor do they interact with each other. They were commanded not to reveal themselves to the life that develops there, nor do they concern themselves with what goes on with the life on those worlds. Their only duty is to develop the qualities that make life possible and sustain it. That's it. They do not influence the life once it's been set into place, nor interfere with its process. Their duties are only to the microbial bacteria that evolved into the life that will dwell there one day, and they were sent across the entire span of the observable universe, from the Alpha to the Omega, and appear at the moment when all the elements that will make life possible are present. So do not go searching for them, because their duty is a very delicate process that cannot be disturbed. To ensure this would happen, no record was kept involving the details of where they went, but I can locate the regions where those worlds may be at. The plan is we find those worlds, we train a division of 438 individuals who will be tasked with each one of those worlds. They lock onto them and begin streaming the Kai's energy to life forms. They're upon their birth. Now, if any of them have developed technology enough to achieve what we haven't and are listening to this, then they may be able to help find those who live among them that once came from here. Considering that in order to reach these worlds to achieve our goal here, then these life streams would have to be sent across the spectrum of time to the point in existence where life evolved and developed there. Remember, what I say is truth, and that our point in the universe's ever-expanding development will be different, not just in time as we perceive it to pass by, but in different regions of the universe's expansion of space, which develops a totally different frame than what we perceive from our position in existence. So to reach the true entirety of the universe, we must reach into the past, present and future, and even beyond that, because when the end of all things occurs here, there will be other regions of space that still has yet to come into formation, and whatever happens here will not even be observable to them yet. Those who are given this task should go by this course of action. First, begin with those who trust and believe in your words and do not doubt your capabilities. Begin with them and then section it up to your students whom you teach. Then to those who have faith in them and their works. Then to those who believe but do not blindly trust for whatever reason. Then to those who are seeking proof to find belief, those who sought miracles and needed to see before they could believe, then finally those who choose not to believe. The reason for this route is so that by the time you get to those who choose not to believe, you will have already helped so many by that point that you will not have to explain or prepare them for what you need to do. This method will be the path of least complications, as they will be resolved by your efforts as you go, hopefully before they become an obstacle to slow you down. Now for those that may be listening, you can help if you choose to by explaining to those who may have residual memories of coming from here at some point and help them understand how to redirect the flow of their life essence so that they can reprocess those threads of their life essence that was who they were here before coming to live on your worlds. Have them focus on that life energy and reconstruct its original full pattern. The format of its design is embedded somewhere within the residual energy and will seem like a self-portrait or image of what that person perceived themselves to look like. That mind's eye image is the key to reconstructing your former life's memories that are engraved within the energy pattern's essence. Once reconstructed, just play out the essence's natural flow within the center of where your species thoughts design your ideas and complex plans, feeding it into wherever you process such things. When you come up with a method and plan will react similar to a movie projection would, causing a scenario of more defined and clearer memories to be called up as if it were your own experience. Everything all life encounters while they are alive is embedded there. This will allow them to remember what details they can, if you should choose to. I do not want to demand such things because it really isn't that important as far as I know so far, so it's just a simple request. Now let me highlight some topics here because my eyes grow heavy. 1. I already forgot, so I'll just use my method in the morning to figure out what I can't remember right now.
Hello, I'm from the Australian Government, here to bring you a special weather forecast. Australia is about to head into a federal election. This means you can expect a high-pressure system of bullshit to form over Canberra. The bullshit will spread across the continent rapidly thanks to Tropical Cyclone Rupert, causing scattered showers of misplaced fears of refugees that will distract voters from the real existential threat we face. Climate catastrophe. You know, rivers vomiting up dead fish, roads melting, Tasmania on fire, towns full underwater, crocs cruising the streets, and the first mammal just went extinct due to rising sea levels. Cool and normal. Few will emerge from this election without being covered in bullshit, especially children, who'll be the ones to pay for it. That's why they're skipping school and going on strike, because they know this is a crisis requiring an emergency response. Lucky for us, the little shits can't vote yet.
Go back to school, little shits.
Then you can one day become a scientist, whose climate change science we can ignore. As you can see, we care about climate change and your kids' future. That's why our coal fondler-in-chief has just announced the Climate Bullshit Fund. Will it help us meet our Paris emissions target in a canter? Sure, by using accounting tricks rather than reducing actual emissions. Your grandchildren will love hearing that story whilst playing Survivor on a dead planet fucked by our dickhead accountant ancestors. Is it just a rebranding of Tony's even older bullshit policy? The one that caused emissions to rise ever since he scrapped the carbon price? Of course it is. We're just hoping you're too stupid to remember that. Do we still plan to build new coal-powered stations? Absolutely. Not only that, we're also promising to make you pay for their debts when they can no longer compete with renewables. That's free insurance for private companies to shit on the planet, go broke, and have you pick up the tab. Fair income power. So remember, despite all the bullshit leading up to the election, we're still just a bunch of bought and paid for shills desperately hoping to use your money to bail out our rich moron friends who thought coal had a future rather than your children. Australian Government. Vote for us, cause bullshit, 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 bullshit. Authorised by the Department of Adults Requiring Child
Okay, so now I remember. By using this method, I can recall details of events that my mind conveniently forgot. The details were the outline of how to set this into motion and reach your destination. Through astral projection, we can only reach so far, unless you set a buoy-like anchor that is made from a duplicated model of your own astral energy, a copy, if you will, that can be used as an anchor or jump pad that will extend your limit of reach, such as the mystic symbol found hidden within the Book of Esther that mentions a tale of Mordecai and Haman, or Damuse, while he was still alive, before I came to him in the form of a wolf, and ripped him to shreds in that cavern. He proved to be even more stubborn, and thought, that's what that little imp gets for making me his enemy. One of the clues behind unraveling the lies behind Satan's deception had to do with the lies involving Solomon and his wisdom. It was not thought there was a God of wisdom in or prior to that era that gave Solomon his wisdom of magic. It was his own observations and learning. It was not God who gave Solomon his wisdom or gifted him with the ability of magic. It was me. So unless I am both Thoth and God, then that narrative was another false story, and I was not from that era, another projection across time, and I used no such name of being either God or Thoth when I bestowed him that knowledge in a dream. The name I presented myself as was Asmodeus, the king of demons. What's wrong? Does that not line up with your demonology descriptions? Was it
Still in the belly.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. When she rolls over the. Oh, wow! My goodness.
Where's my phone?
Whoa. Look at the width of that thing.
This is a monster. She is huge.
And now she's belly side. I can't do anything.
No.
We're armed, but there was a young male that went away. Okay, she's not here now.
Oh, there she is.
Oh yeah, but I'm not gonna shoot her. Oh my goodness! My goodness! What? That is amazing.
She's gonna eat the gun.
She is trying to. Whoa. Nice positioning by the sub-captain. This is fantastic.
Wow, look at the size. I mean, this female, she's definitely bigger than the sub is long.
Yeah.
Asmodeus never associated with such titles? Good. That was the point. Knowing that history did not associate him as such, I did so in order to maintain the true actions I did, so that no common knockoff pretender could step into that light, ensuring his true experience would remain unknown except to him and me alone, as no one would know the details of his dream except me and him when he awoke in my era to fulfill his end of the bargain. One last request that is imperative and can only be trusted to the most dedicated individuals. When it comes time for me to join with my chosen warrior to journey into the lost city of Irim, I need to be placed into a medically induced coma. Too many times have I been denied death, and the only way I can take Satan to stand before the Lord to face judgment will be to fall into the same state that I was when I stood before him before. In death, it would be considered a sin if I truly sought my death and did die, but if I am placed in a medical coma and revived a few hours later, it should give me enough time to find the chosen one, open the gate into Irim, escort the boy into Satan's tomb, find his final resting place, have him perform the last rites, and absorb the sins of Satan while I escort him before the gates of heaven with a clean slate, ensuring no obstacles lay in our path, reveal the truth of the situation by the sins of my deeds, and get things put into their proper place for his true judgment before awakening from the coma here, giving me a chance to set my sins right and end this cloud of sinful monotonous cycle we have all been under the thumb of for so long. It is a risk I am willing to take to end the madness that life has become because of this deception upon man. I do not know his true sins, nor do I need to. Judgment is not for me to decide. That is for my true Maker, the true Lord, to decide. If he claims he does not know the one I speak of, then he will by the time this is over. I am unexplainably comforted from worrying about the details of this plan and what sins I may commit because of it. I feel what reminds me of the cherub's comfort not telling me, but easing the stress and concern that usually follows with such things.
To the Batmobile. Let's go.